Hey guys, it's Corey from Thought Soldiers. So I wanted to talk about something today that popped up actually. It started to pop up last night and it came back again this morning, and it's a touchy subject that kind of reluctant to go into, but I feel like my purpose is to kind of just display these vulnerabilities and to shed light on them, and especially some taboo topics, and just let people know that they're not alone in kind of what to do when it does happen when you're on this ascension path and you're trying to integrate with new energies, and you're trying to live in a 5D mindset or in a 5D world. So yesterday, last night, I had some very dark energies that were kind of arising. Don't know if it was, I'm trying to learn still how to discern what is, in this instance, a dark energy, or if I'm releasing something of my own, purging it, or if it's ancestral, whatever it is. Either way, it's a part of me. And so starting in, let's see, it was January 30th, I started to feel this ramp up in energies. Like, we were getting ready for February. A few people talked about it, and I felt this excitement and this let's do it. And then last night it hit this doubt, and it was definitely a fear. As I've got this light pulsating right behind me, or the camera's adjusting to this light, kind of cool. There's this fear that was rising up, and it was this. You're not worth it, you're this, you're that, all this negative self-talk that was arising, but it wasn't triggered by anything. It was kind of strange. It was something that obviously it was either my body and mind and soul are adjusting to new energies, and it was a purge that I wasn't aware of. Don't know if it was a psychic attack, because as we know, when we are facing darkness, or any sort of those attacks, the only thing it can really do is instill fear in you, or point out insecurities. So this one was definitely instilling a knocking me down to size, and it was strange because usually there's this sense of protection around me when I go about my day, and yesterday I felt like it just wasn't there. It was interesting. It felt like, it just felt like it wasn't there. And someone had shared in a meeting that, sometimes God will be there to protect you and to guide you, and sometimes he's going to have you do things by yourself, which was kind of a very interesting perspective for me to listen to, because, I feel like that presence, our light beings, our archangels, our guidance, when we call upon them, they are around us at all times. But I felt very alone and vulnerable yesterday, and it was very strange. I don't know why it was happening. I'm gonna definitely reflect on it more throughout today as to why, because I am curious like that. I like to know these whys. But yeah, I felt like my guidance wasn't there, and this stuff happened where it was just this negative self-talk, this criticism, this doubt, definitely not in a place of trusting what the universe is offering me right now and what the universe is bringing to me. It was very strange. So anyway, I just thought it was negative self-talk. I'm coming off a very rough patch of grieving, and also learning how to be able to release anger, because I don't know really necessarily how to release anger in a positive way. I've seen it I saw it as a child, and how it was portrayed when my father would get really angry, and he would yell and shout. It was nothing really bad. Like, there are people out there who have horrible family upbringings. I was with even though we are toxic in our own ways, and if my mom and dad are seeing this, sorry guys, but we are. Our family can be toxic. It's getting better though. That the what I saw as a child and through my lenses was kind of scary. So seeing that, I kind of always been the kind where when I got angry, I didn't release it and I didn't let it out. So maybe as I'm saying this and processing it, could be that this was just needed to be triggered and let out, and this anger needs to be released in some way, and I don't know how to let it out in a constructive way, so I've been bottling it. But anyways, so last night this doubt was going on, this kind of anger, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I was kind of bypassing. I was just like, don't think about it, don't focus on it, whatever. Anyway, went to bed. Last night had horrible dreams all night. My dreams are becoming more vivid as of, gosh, I think it was because I was one of those people as a kid. I would lucid dream, and I actually took a lucid dreaming class a long time ago now. It was about probably 7 years ago. There was a mental health program I was in that offered a lucid dreaming class. So I learned how to lucid dream. And in my dreams, I actually used to have these really vivid dreams, and I wrote them down. I actually had a notepad on my phone, on my iPhone at the time, and I wrote down these dreams. And what's interesting is a lot of these dreams came true. So for me, I had a lot of prophecy dreams that I didn't know were prophecy dreams, but I knew something was to them, and I wrote them out, and they ended up coming to life within a year or two later. So anyways, moving beyond that. Last night I had these I don't remember all of it, but I just do remember that sense of like death, a sense of fear, a sense of just a very dark, like twisted Rob Zombie style film, kind of just that vibe. Anyway, so I woke up this morning, and I'm trying to be very mindful of in the morning what I put into my brain, because that will kind of set the tone for the day. So anyways, I'm like trying to, do my shielding, my breathing, use some positive affirmations, and all of a sudden that thing came back in a wave. And it was this doubt, it was this you're not good enough. It started harnessing his anxiety, and then it started coming up as suicidal ideation. And this is the taboo topic that I wanted to talk about, was the suicidal ideation. Now, I'll tell you what, in my past, suicide attempts are a huge part of my story. That's something that I will bear to anyone that asks, because it makes me who I am today, and I survived those things. But I know not to act on them today. And definitely wherever there's been traumatic energy for me, especially since I'm very clairsentient, and my clairvoyance is starting to kind of open up more, and same with my clairaudience. But I'm very, like, my skill is clairsentient, I feel. There are times where, especially at like trolley tracks and places like that, since I take public transportation, I can tell where there has been severe trauma or an energetic imprint has been left in that area, because there's one area in particular at this trolley stop I always get off at, that like right when I touch that area, something tells me jump in front of the trolley, and I just know not to listen to it, so I don't act on these ideations. But today, this ideation was coming up, and I was like, oh shit, why is this happening? And this really negative mindset, and I knew that I had to talk to someone about it. So I talked to one of my housemates in our little housing complex, and he's like, you know what, you could be purging something and you're just unaware of it. And it really shed light onto the fact that, like, even though I stopped doing the really like deep, heavy shadow work, these purges happen. And I'm someone who thinks so many thoughts throughout the day, and that's just kind of how I'm wired. I'm learning to tone it down a little bit, but anyway, that I forgot that I could be potentially purging something, especially with new energies, and this February kind of being a ramp-up month, and I've felt like for the past little bit of time that I'm being prepared for whatever is about to arrive. So I was like, oh, it's a purge, cool. Like, let me call my family, because my family had been really worried about me for the few days, because I've been very up and down with these cycles. Now, granted, it could be energies, but also, too, it's a direct result of what I faced with the passing of my friend. So, like, I've just been swinging up and down, and I wanted to let them know, like, hey, I could be purging. So anyways, I end up getting into a conversation with my mom, and we get into a heated argument. And things are starting to get elevated, and she was proving some very valid points of what was going on, and me being someone who likes to be right and likes to argue his point, sometimes have a very tough time backing down, standing down, and saying, you know what, you're right. So I hung up the phone, and I quickly realized that what was going on with me needed to be released. So what I did in visualization is I immediately turned to the darkness in my mind's eye. I'm really good at doing, when I do closed eyes visualizations, it's really tough, but I did this kind of open-eyed visualization where I'm like staring up into space, and I imagined myself turning and looking at this darkness, and I said, you know what? Bring it. Bring it. And I said, come on, let's do this. Like, I got in this righteous fury, this righteous anger, kind of like, come on, like, I'm here. You know, I'm a warrior of light. I'm not scared of you, because all you can do is put fear into me. And I've battled a lot of fear and been through some stuff. Like, you're messing with the wrong cat. And I took that mindset of righteous anger. I said, bring it on. And I felt it come on. And right when we were kind of running at one another, I imagine this, like this kind of superhero. This is something that's always really helped me in this visualization of trying to face my fears and face my demons in the face. Was I imagined myself as almost like a Dragon Ball Z Goku kind of presence. And right when I was coming face to face with it, I just illuminated with light and I took it in, and boom, just immediately dissolved. And I felt this overwhelming, like, whoa. That's cool. Like, that's really neat that happened. And I let it pass. And I finally got this really like blissful, euphoric feeling. And then the number popped up, 7117. And some people, right when I said that, dude, 1117 is right when I said that on the, I hope someone checks that timestamp, because that's really cool. That's just cool synchronicity. So anyways, I noticed the 7117. And my dear friend Amber has talked about this as far as ancestral karma and us processing that in our warrior mode where we're at right now. And I then quickly reflected on like, oh shit, this 7117, I'm probably processing something. And I quickly thought back to, I only know my grandfather and I know stories of my grandfather and grandmother on my father's side. And my grandfather on my father's side and my grandmother, I know my grandfather was in a really, really dark place. I know my grandmother did have a suicide attempt on her. With me having suicide attempts and that ideation running in my family, I knew intuitively that I'm facing this stuff and I'm processing this trauma. And it felt really nice. So I wanted to mention this. It's a really long story at 12 minutes. But I wanted to mention the whole concept of everything, because what happened was I realized that those fears, if I literally turn around, or this darkness, whatever it was, if I turn it and I look at it in the eye and I hold my internal light, and I show my strength and I show it what I'm made of, it dissolved immediately. Like, it was like, holy crap, because these are things that I've been running from for a very, very long time. That darkness, I was always very, I had a tough time being able to face. And I got this blissful feeling, and then I saw 7117. And when these number sequences now are evolving, as of probably maybe a month ago, I started to get these sequences of like 7117, 8118, 2222, all 4 digits. And what I see it as is it's a balance. Like, if you look at the 71 and then put a line between it, and then the 17, it's a balance or a reflection. So if we think of that central point, and then the 1s and then the 7s, it's like mirroring or balance. And I'm realizing that as we're going to get our cues when we are working on this ancestral stuff. We're going to get cues from the universe that are telling us that we're bringing everything into balance right now. We're bringing everything into perfect harmony. And so after I felt like really, really good with that, my day went amazing. And, as far as, feeling anger and stuff like that, I'm definitely now aware of that. When these energies arrive and I'm processing this stuff, I communicate it with people. I just say, hey guys, listen, this is an emotion that I'm feeling right now. If I take it out on you, I apologize. It's not personal. I'm going through some stuff. And people genuinely understand. Like, luckily, my work and my people know how important this stuff is to me and how passionate I am, and they've seen it change my life for the better, so they're pretty supportive of it. And this really helps with this whole opening up the throat chakra thing and speaking your truth and finding who you are. Is if you're going through these energies and you still have to go to work, like, because this morning I was like, oh, with this kind of stuff, like, I ain't going to work, it's gonna be bad. turned and I faced it, and I was aware that this may pop up again throughout the day, and it didn't pop up. I got to work through that. And then I got the really cool confirmation of the 7117, and right when I mentioned that, boom, right here on the time, and you guys can check the timestamp at 11:17. That's when that's my confirmation that I was processing something that was ancestral, and so this really made me kind of really want to get back into breath work and get back into honing in on that balance and that mindfulness of the breath and how important it is in tuning into our body. So I came up with a really neat kind of exercise if you guys want to give it a try. As far as being able to practice like kind of this mindful breathing amidst the chaos, if you don't want to have to try to apply that when your life is getting chaotic, here's something really neat that I did today, and I found it pretty cool. I was feeling very energized after this. Like I felt like, it felt like a lion that wanted to play rough with another, I'm a Leo, so that's how I connect to it. It was like a lion wanting to play rough with another lion. Like I really just wanted to start a fight with someone, but not in any malicious way. Like I just wanted to like let out that fierce cat within me, I guess you could say. So I was listening to heavy metal all day, and I was reading. I have this new book that I've been reading, and I don't know the title completely right now because I don't have it in front of me. But it's about mindfulness and it's about breathing. And I was reading it and reading about this dialogue we tell ourselves while we're breathing, saying, I'm aware that I'm breathing in. I'm aware that I'm breathing out. And like kind of getting this twofold focus of getting the mind in tune with the body and the breath and aligning everything in kind of perfect harmony. And while I was doing this, I was listening to metal. And the metal was getting me like really like energized, really kind of like upbeat and kind of this, let's do this. Which I know can sometimes not be a good place for me. I'm a kid who loves mosh pits, so I really wanted to go to a concert and go into a mosh pit. Anyway, so I was doing this and I tuned into my breath, and I was practicing this mindful breathing with this really loud, chaotic music in me. And I found this peace within this chaos of what I was listening to. And I was like, wow, this would be really good if someone wants to practice like I would say an advanced level of mindfulness of if you have a very chaotic mind or you're caught in a chaotic storm, try to produce that in the most natural way where if it's too much, you can shut it off. And that's why I like the music idea, because if it's getting to be too much and it's not working and you're trying to apply this and things are just kind of going crazy around you, it could be a lot harder to practice. But if it's something where you're in a good spot and you want to see if you can do it, turn on some music, tune into your breath. And I would say you don't have to listen to metal. Try to listen to something either you don't like, something that really like annoys you, like Christmas music for me. Christmas music not on Christmas is really annoying. And there's just certain things that are like fingernails on a chalkboard. If you could try to listen to that and tune into your breath while that's all happening and see if you can practice it, like it was a really neat realization. I wanted to share that if that's something you have a tough time with, is trying to be in a non-reactive state when these sort of emotions or you're exposed to this energy or this feeling and you have a tough time practicing it, give it a shot, see if it works for you. I mean, it's worked for me, and it's something that I'm actually going to try a lot more, is kind of setting up the environment for this, either an elevated hyperactive state or something that's in a kind of an anger state, so on and so forth. And then practice the breathing to be mindful of the fact of that, like our breath is very powerful and we can tune into that at any point in time. And we can tune into our heartbeat, and we can really do a body scan of different parts of our body and tune into that awareness. So, so while I was listening to the metal, I breathe in and out, and I just say, I know I am breathing, like I'm breathing in. I'm aware that I'm breathing out. I'm aware that, and I feel my lungs expand at the same time. So it's not only just the breath and the thought, but tying in the body too. And that really gets the soul aligned and really brings in this balance that I'm really trying to seek now, is that balance, that perfect trifecta of mind, body, and soul working in perfect harmony. So yeah, wanted to share that. Another thing too is while you're doing this breathing, listen to your heartbeat. So just slow down while you're breathing. I'm aware that I'm breathing in, and just focus your attention on your heartbeat as well, and just feel it and listen to it. And you're like, you kind of start to realize like, whoa, like this body is really powerful. This is a really beautiful temple we live in. And I'll tell you what, once I start to tune into my heartbeat and to know that my heart pumps 24/7 to keep me alive, and really then enjoying the breath, it made me more mindful of not only the things that, because I'm still trying to quit smoking today. Before I did this whole facing the shadow thing, I picked up smoking again. I quit for like 4 days. I was like, screw it, I'm buying a pack. And anyway, so this being aware of the breath and feeling your heartbeat and just seeing how magnificent our bodies are and what it can do and how powerful it is really helped to bring this sense of power, but this sense of like, whoa, this is a beautiful temple I have and I really need to treat it well. And what resides within this temple too is something extremely beautiful if we can make it beautiful. And sometimes we have to go through that darkness to be able to shed it out, to create space for more light, to really enjoy the space in between our body and in between our breath. And so just wanted to share that, guys, that if you're dealing with dark energies, if you have those ideations, don't judge it, face it. Like, really face it. Do that visualization. Turn around, imagine yourself as a superhero or a bodybuilder. Imagine yourself as this very larger than life character and face that demon and take it head on with righteous fury. And I'll tell you what, I did that and it passed pretty quickly. And I realized that resistance that I hold of running from these emotions actually tends to keep that emotion running longer. But as soon as I turned and I faced myself, my biggest critic and my biggest demon, I was okay. And it passed right on by. It went right away, and I went about my day, and I had one of the best days I've had in a little while. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Anyways, much love and respect. If you haven't, click subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to reach out, you can email me, CoreyMacLight, that's LITE33 @gmail.com. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the other side. Good luck adjusting to these energies, and let's enjoy our February. All right, namaste.